my second video, I want to follow up on some of the comments I made regarding salvation. I first made the comment that, well, the Christian claims that the devil, Satan or Lucifer, sinned in heaven, disobeyed God. That was the first major sin. So the sin of a transcendent, or not transcendent, let's say a supernatural being who failed to obey his master or wanted to rebel against his supernatural master, happened in heaven. Earth was created, and God, the supernatural master, created Adam and Eve. They disobeyed God, so that's the original sin for humanity. Then you have the redemption, where Jesus Christ dies on the cross for the sins of humanity, and they can be redeemed in their promised eternal life in heaven as angels. That's what I would assume. They're angels in heaven. Okay. We go to heaven, we're with God, and we will never sin again. My first question is, how can that happen? How is that possible? And my first question was, how does this demonstrate that this is a perfect God? The sin of Satan in heaven indicates a mistake. It's just that simple. Satan is not guaranteed eternal life in heaven. No angel had eternal life in heaven. Well, let's say most angels or all angels were not guaranteed eternal life in heaven. All angels were not guaranteed eternal life in heaven. The first supernatural being that God created, allegedly, did not ensure that this being would have eternal life. Okay, we all know, based on the Bible, which is false, but we all know that the claim is that the devil will burn in hell forever when Judgment Day comes. Okay? That shows that you can sin in heaven. Now, the apologist says, well, we're going to erase, when you accept God, and you go through the saving process and you qualify for being saved, well, actually you don't qualify because you're a piece of garbage, God will cleanse your sin as if it's some supernatural entity or something. Will cleanse your sin, some spiritual disease, I think how they relate it. Just cleanse your sin, cleanse your spiritual disease of sin, and you will sin no more. You will sin no more. So basically that's the whole crux of the argument that I'm having with some guy on YouTube, which I'll show you. Inbox. It says Christian Fighter. Now, he does say free will exists in heaven, and I contend if God erases the tendency to sin, you cannot have free will. Free will, within their own definition, is the free will to obey or free will to disobey God. Those things must exist in heaven. If you have only free will not to sin, then you don't have free will. This is their basic argument. So let's look at how I'm going to respond to this. Yeah, you're so confused about Catholicism, I don't know where to begin. Yeah, this is really quite simple. It's a quite simple concept, isn't it, Christian Fighter? I'm not really confused. I think I think that you're making a convoluted argument. Everyone has free will. So for those who reject God, they have to have somewhere to exist. They can go to heaven where people willingly love God for eternity, so there's hell. All Catholicism makes perfect sense if you're just not thinking it through. Actually, no, it doesn't, because the essence of free will is here's the question again. I'm going to type it for you. Christian Fighter. free will, if your statement that God, let's see, all tendencies towards sin are fully cleansed from the souls of heaven because of their free will. They have chosen God. Well, that's the free will to choose God before you get into heaven. All tendencies towards sin are fully cleansed from souls in heaven because of their own free will. They have chosen God. A tendency to sin. Now, a tendency to sin, let me type this for you. A tendency to sin is the free will to disobey God. Disobey God, correct? If this is correct, if this is correct, how can, there is no free will to sin. There is no fundamental free will. Free will in heaven for the saved. In order to have free will, buddy, you must have. In order to have free will, you must have the tendency not to sin equally with the tendency to sin. That is the standard. That is the standard for earth. So let's look here. All tendencies towards sin are fully cleansed from the soul in heaven because of their free will. They have chosen God. Right. What I'm saying is that you but it's clear. The tendency to sin is the free will to disobey God, correct? If this is correct, there is no fundamental free will in heaven for the saved. In order to have free will, absolute free will, you must have the tendency not to sin equally with the tendency to sin. There's no cleansing of the tendency to sin. How